The sound of laughter echoed through Ray's diner, the kind of laughter that doesn't come from joy, but from cruelty. At the center of it stood Kesha Johnson, a 34-year-old waitress with scars crawling up her arms like memories that refused to fade. "Hey, Freddy Krueger came to work today!" One of the regulars, Mr. Davidson, shouted across the room. His buddies erupted in laughter, pounding their fists on the table as plates rattled. "Careful, monster," he added. "Don't spill that coffee with those burnt hands." Kesha didn't flinch. Her hands didn't even tremble as she poured the coffee with surgical precision. Every movement was calm, deliberate. A silence that carried more strength than their words ever could. She had heard it all before, every insult, every whisper. But none of them knew that beneath her simple white uniform beat the heart of someone who had survived far worse than their mockery. Davidson leaned back in his chair, smirking. "So tell us, sweetheart, how'd you get those scars? House fire? Drug lab explosion?" His accountant, Brett, snorted. "Nah, probably some boyfriend of hers. You know how it is in that community." The laughter grew louder, but Kesha simply asked, calm and steady, "Anything else, gentlemen?" Her composure made them uncomfortable, almost angry. Davidson leaned closer, sneering. "Yeah, an explanation. What kind of work leaves someone like that?" For a split second, something flickered in her eyes. Not shame, not fear. It was the look of someone who had faced death and told it to wait. "Work," she said simply, turning away. "Just work." Across the diner, a quiet man had been watching. James Wright, a middle-aged traveler with sharp eyes and a soldier's posture. He'd come in for coffee, but what he saw made his stomach twist. He'd seen that kind of calm before. In war zones, not diners. The way Kesha moved, how she stood, how her eyes tracked every exit. It was all too familiar. Davidson, drunk on his own arrogance, wasn't done. "You should be grateful people like us even let you serve us. You probably didn't even finish high school." Kesha turned slowly. "People like me?" Davidson grinned. "Yeah, people who work with their hands. Not much brain power needed." James saw it then. A flash of ink beneath Kesha's sleeve. Just a few faded letters, but unmistakable to someone who'd served. A unit tattoo. His heart skipped. Kesha leaned closer to Davidson, her voice low but clear. "You know," she said, "manual labor's one way to describe carrying wounded soldiers 3 miles under enemy fire." Davidson blinked, confused. "What did you just say?" "Nothing," she said softly, straightening her apron. "Do you want the bill or more insults?" The air shifted. Conversations died down. Something about her tone, the steel beneath the calm, made even the cruelest men uneasy. Davidson stood, puffing out his chest. "You're just a waitress. You better show us some respect." Kesha turned fully toward him. "You're right. I am a waitress, but you have no idea who you're talking to." For the first time, Davidson stepped back. James couldn't stay silent anymore. He walked over quietly as Kesha passed him to wipe another table. "Excuse me," he said softly. "That tattoo on your arm, is that 1st Infantry Division?" Kesha froze for just a moment. Her eyes met his, and she saw recognition there. 3 tours in Iraq, she admitted. Combat trauma specialist. James's jaw tightened. "You saved lives." "And they'll never know it," she replied. "Not yet." But before they could say more, Davidson pulled out his phone. "Let's get this on camera," he sneered. "Show the world the monster who serves us." He started recording, laughing as Kesha turned toward the lens. But instead of shrinking away, she looked straight into it, calm, cold, unbreakable. "Go ahead," she said. "You'll want to keep this." "Oh, she likes it," Davidson taunted. "Probably runs one of those sites for freak lovers." A few customers shifted uncomfortably. Something about Kesha's steady voice made them uneasy. "You know," she said. I am used to being filmed. Usually it's when I'm receiving medals for saving soldiers' lives under fire. The diner went still. Davidson's smirk faltered. Kesha stepped closer. Keep recording. What's your name again? Davidson Mitchell, he said proudly. Mitchell and Associates. We fire problem employees. Mitchell and Associates, Kesha repeated softly. Interesting. She turned toward the manager. Tony, please witness that Mr. Davidson Mitchell is recording and using my image while making discriminatory remarks. Tony nodded, uncertain but compliant. Davidson laughed nervously. You think anyone's gonna care? Oh, they will, Kesha said. Especially your clients. James watched as Kesha reached into her apron and pulled out her phone. You see, she continued, I've been recording you too. For 6 months. Every conversation. Every confession about firing people for the color of their skin. Davidson froze. That's illegal. Not in Texas, Kesha replied smoothly. Only one person needs to consent to a recording. She pressed play. Davidson's voice filled the diner. The trick is never to put race on paper. You say performance or culture fit. They can't prove discrimination. The blood drained from his face. James stepped between them before Davidson could snatch the phone. I wouldn't do that if I were you, he warned. Then Davidson's phone rang. His biggest client. Davidson, what the hell is going on? The voice shouted through the speaker. There's a video of you humiliating a war veteran. You're finished. Kesha smiled. Oh yes, that video? I posted it. With your name, your company, and my service record. Within hours, it went viral. Millions watched the arrogant executive mock a decorated veteran who had saved lives in Iraq. By the end of the week, Mitchell and Associates was under federal investigation. By the end of the month, it was gone. Kesha's recordings exposed years of discriminatory practices across multiple corporations. Her bravery inspired new legislation protecting veterans and workers from bias. As for Kesha, she was no longer a waitress at Ray's Diner. She became a national advocate for equality, her scars now symbols of courage. When asked during an interview why she never revealed who she was from the start, she smiled and said, Because respect shouldn't depend on a uniform. It should be automatic, human. James, now working beside her to help other veterans, put it best. Davidson tried to humiliate her, but he only ended up exposing himself. And as the sun set over that small Texas town, one truth echoed louder than any insult. Real power doesn't shout. It stands in silence and lets justice do the talking.